have you with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
I met you at lunch last year, an International Women's Day lunch, and I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
It was literally a year ago, I guess.
It was a year ago, so I'm really, really excited to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for letting me be here.
You're very international, Wiggy.
Oh, yes.
Very international. You've just come back from South Africa from a shoot. Born in Singapore, lived in the UK, Newport, Rhode Island, North Carolina, New England. Yeah. Have I missed anywhere?
No, I think that's probably about it. Yeah, I've sort of gone around a little bit.
Tell me what took you everywhere.
Well, I was born in, to be very technical, I was actually conceived in Canada and born in Singapore. So I even started off before I even sort of popped out. But my parents moved around a lot during their sort of time sort of working. And so I was actually born in Singapore, lived there for a number of years, and then we moved back to the UK. My father sold this company to an American company, which took them there. I then followed at 18. Got a boyfriend out there, and then moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And then back to the UK. So it's sort of come full circle in the end.
Any favourite places along the way, or least favourite places?
Well, actually, I have to say, for me, I feel like an American trapped in an English person's body. So I actually love America. I had the most brilliant experience living there. It was so informative because it was just that sort of time in my life when, things were... learning to drive, getting your first apartment, your first jobs, all these things. It was a very sort of embryonic stage of your life, and it really, really influenced me massively. And I think you can sort of see that in the sort of direction of my clothing brand as well. I think it's quite Americanized. So America, I still crave and sort of moon after America.
So I was going to ask about that actually. Has travel influenced your work, and to what extent?
Massively. I'd say it's the number one influencer of everything that I do, because really I feel that everywhere that you go basically informs and throws up some different challenges. So you might go to, for example, somewhere incredibly hot and sweltering, and you think, oh my gosh, what I really need right now is this type of fabric, this type of cut. And vice versa. So, you can have summer, for example, in Sweden and summer in Ibiza are two totally different things.
Yeah.
Summer in New England is a completely different thing. So I think every time you go to these places, it means that when I look at the collection as a whole, especially for spring, summer, I'm considering all those different things and those different eventualities. Some places also quite dressy, some places are super casual, and I think that a lot of my collections are really high-low, so the whole point of them is the versatility, so you can make them very dressy, or you can make them very casual.
So you can absolutely do your capsule collection for your travels.
You really can, and I just find that, different colours, different sort of lighting, I always notice that, and maybe I'm a bit biased about this, when you step off the plane in America, the sort of light that you get there does completely different things to your skin color, how you look in, how I feel like I look in a piece of clothing in America as to when I wear it in London is two totally different.
Grey.
It's completely different. It's really weird. It's really different. And so I really consider that when I'm doing all the design stuff part.
Before we go more to fashion, I just want to ask travel a bit more. You also spend a lot of time in the Bahamas, is that right?
Yes, I'm really lucky. I have a house in the Bahamas on a little island called Harbour Island.
Yes.
And people don't realise this, but the Bahamas is made up of 700 little tiny islands, and one of them is Harbour Island, which is 3 miles long by half a mile wide, so it's very, very small, and incredibly sort of natural, and it's like slightly going back in time. So we have a house there. We bought in 2013, bought our first house, redid it, sent our children to the little local school on the island for a term, and sort of whilst we were rebuilding it. Then someone wanted to buy it, so we just bought a new place, and we're just redeveloping that right now.
Why the Bahamas, and any favourite spots there you can share?
Well, but the Bahamas was in answer to the fact that during the winter, we just wanted somewhere where we could go that was guaranteed great sun. And I thought, my goodness, when my husband suggested the Bahamas, I thought, that's 9 hours away on the plane, plus. Yeah. I thought, this is absolutely crazy. But when I went there, it was just
Paradise.
Yeah, and I thought, absolutely. And there was such a community out there and really nice, like-minded people that it was a no-brainer. So it's worth the travel.
And do you hop around the islands?
A little bit, yes. You can just take a speedboat down to sort of the Exumas, which is very well known for their exquisite beauty. It's completely, talk about see-through water, turquoise. There's no one there. Pablo Escobar, though, used to have an island or two down there. And where you go down there, you can actually dive and see one of the planes that he crashed into the sort of sandbar there.
Oh, wow.
So yes, there's lots of lovely little places. Spanish Wells, which is an interesting little island just off of Harbour Island and Eleuthera. But everything is very sort of deserted, which we like.
Which is glorious to step away from London. Before launching Wiggy Kit, you were a dancer.
I was, yes.
Tell me more and why the transition?
So one of the things that, thank goodness for actually dancing, because I went to a very academic school in the beginning. And fortunately for my mother and for me was that there was another string to my bow, because academics wasn't it. And sort of approximately the same time that my parents had been taken aside and told that maybe academics and this sort of academic school is probably not for your daughter, my dance teacher, who was outside of school, was saying, you should really think about putting into a professional school, because she's got a lot of talent. So that was actually a nice segue. So I started to go to arts educational school, as it was called then, in Tring from the age of 8, and I went all the way to 18.
Wow.
And within that, I did all forms of dance, drama, singing, acting. I was actually looking, it's quite funny, the other day I found these old, our old school reports. And even mime. I forgot that I used to do mime.
Brilliant.
I was apparently very good at mime.
How can you forget that? That's such a useful skill.
It was very useful. I've used it so much ever since. So really, it was my whole background's always in the creative. I've always been like that. It was going to come out one way or the other.
No longer dancing, though.
Apart from my kitchen with my teenage daughters.
Kind of.
But no, I think dancing, we can put that away now.
So tell me about the transition to launching Wiggy Kit.
Well, first of all, I moved to America, I worked a lot of retail jobs, just like every young person often does, thinking that this was a little stopgap. And when I first moved to America, I didn't go to university for obvious reasons. Even though obviously I got my A-levels, it was not the direction I was going in. So I just got my first little jobs working in retail, and weirdly was quite good at it. And I think I learned all that American-style customer services, which was very, very important. But I sort of bounced from one job, another job. Someone would say, oh, please come and work for me. And I'd move on to their businesses. And before I knew it, I was given more and more responsibility. And people were sort of, asking me to do buying, or asking me to do a bit of design even. And before I knew it, I was running other people's businesses. And had I not have done this, and this had not been my trajectory, there was no way I'd be doing what I do today, and would have survived and actually continued on, because it's one thing starting a business, but maintaining that and keep on going, and not getting dissuaded or overawed or overfaced by the enormity of day-to-day functions, because really and truly running a fashion business seems incredibly glamorous, but in so many ways it really isn't. There's a lot of grunt work, there's a lot of tiring work to it, but I was prepared for that because of what I'd been doing before.
So the premise is a wardrobe that works as hard as the women you design for.
Yes.
I love that.
So I think women nowadays have got a lot of things on their plate, right?
Yes.
And maybe a lot of our parents' generation, the women might not have worked, or if they did, it might have been in a part-time capacity. But nowadays, I think women often work a lot, as well as juggling everything else. Yeah. But the sort of different parts of our lives and the things that we might have in our diaries might range from everything as boring as having to go and do the food shop, through to you might be at a wonderful event next week, or you're in a business meeting, you know, it could be a myriad of events or things. And so for me, I didn't want to have lots of sort of multiple things in wardrobe. Well, this does this job and this does this job. I didn't see why.
Should work for everything.
It should work. And also similarly, for example, I think I gave this example earlier. If you are invited to, say, for example, Ibiza or you're the south of France, you shouldn't have to have two different sort of wardrobes to cover those things. It should sort of work both ways. And then also, as I said, high-low. So take you to the beach, change your shoes, out for dinner, earrings, whatever that might be. Whatever that might be, exactly. So that was the sort of the theory behind it.
So you began mainly with spring-summer collections.
Yes.
So what are your spring-summer staples?
Mainly when I'm in a sort of city type of situation, I do find I'm wearing a lot of kind of jeans typically. We've got some amazing jeans this new season, especially early on this season. But then as we get warmer throughout the season, I tend to go for our co-ords, so really pretty skirts with matching tops. I'm a big fan of skirts nowadays. As I got older, I feel like I can't wear pants as well as I used to. So skirts for me have taken over that role. And in fact, I'm wearing this skirt today, which was designed because for those days when you don't want to wear jeans, but you want a practical skirt that can kind of be a bit tough. Because I sort of, before I started designing skirts, I also believe skirts to be very ladylike and prim and not really something that you can wear kind of day to day. But if you toughen it up with sweaters and, you know, you wear it the way that I'm wearing it, it does that job of wearing a pair of jeans. So I'll wear a lot of that. And then if I go away in the summer, it's really just a fling-on dress, because I just want one piece only, be unencumbered, and just wear some sandals, easy.
So while launching and running a successful fashion label, what does downtime look like for you? Do you have downtime?
I don't actually have a lot of, that's actually quite a difficult question, because I don't have a lot of downtime. I am always working. If I'm not working, I'm afraid to say this sounds very geeky. I'm doing probably some crafty type of stuff. So I really love doing needle points.
That's not geeky at all.
I'm making some needlepoint cushions right now, which is, I feel sort of a bit embarrassed to say.
It's probably quite therapeutic.
I really like it. My husband was looking at this. He goes, "How can you do that? This is so boring." I was like, "Well, actually, it's sort of quite meditative. I like it." So I do a lot of crafty kind of stuff. I'm making something. Massages are pretty good on my. I like a massage.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
So yeah, walks, things like that. But I like to just actually not do very much. Some people like to relax by doing lots, and actually for me, I like to just be still.
That's glorious.
Exactly.
Coming back to travel again, is there a favourite place that you've visited that surprised you, perhaps, or?
Well, I've actually recently I wasn't actually very keen on Portugal for a long time until someone introduced me to comporta.
It's incredible.
It is really lovely. I think I was harking back to the times of thinking back to 13 years old, Algarve. Really, really fun in those days, but it was literally just England on sea, which is actually pretty ghastly. I try to avoid that if you anywhere where there's too many English people. And it was just a bit sort of prefab. But comporta is beautiful, wild, natural. It almost looks like it could be Argentina, South America, somewhere like that. I loved it. I thought it was so chic, and the architecture there is so chic.
Great food.
Great
it's
food.
Not overwrought by tourists
no,
yet.
I mean, not yet,
Yes.
but maybe soon. I've noticed actually there's a new sort of quite big hotel that's just opened up near Comporta. But no, I thought that was very surprising because I'd slightly written off Portugal.
And anywhere that's on your bucket list?
So many places. In fact, my husband and I were going through this the other day thinking, my goodness, how many sort of actual summers or winters do we have left to go and visit all these places? And we feel a bit in a rush, you know, to go and do that. We want to do a big trip with the children to the Far East because they haven't experienced that. Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, which my husband and I have done, but the children haven't done. Obviously, Japan is a big one. But I feel like that is something you have to have the energy for. So I'm waiting to sort of get the energy to go and do that. But the thing I am desperate to do is, in fact, I tried to do this, couldn't organise it in time, but a ranching vacation.
Oh, fun.
So I'd like to take all the family to do that. None of us actually particularly like horses, but it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about buying the cowboy boots and everything like that. So I want to go and do all that whole Americana stuff.
You can do a shoot while you're there as well.
I'd really like to do that. And weirdly, a train ride through Canada, because I think that trans-Canadian...
All through the Rockies, it would be beautiful.
Really spectacular, yeah.
Yeah, train travel is fascinating.
Yes,
it's such a nice way of travelling.
I really do.
Busy woman on the go, travelling, jet setting. What are your essentials in your bag?
Are you talking about the bag I take on the plane?
No, your handbag
My handbag. Well, it's always a bit embarrassing, isn't it, handbags? Because the true facts of the matter is they're never as tidy or as clean or anything that you... But
it's a beautiful bag, though.
It's a beautiful bag, which I always get complimented on. Look at that colour; it's amazing.
It is, yeah.
So I'm a massive fan. Sorry, this is not all. I'm afraid this is not nicely curated. It's pretty mucky in here. So it's okay.
Be surprised if it was. I don't know if it is.
Trini London does stackable pots
Nice.
of makeup. I always have just the essential, the concealer, some sort of thing for my cheeks, something for my lips. These are amazing, by the way.
Very useful.
And for traveling, literally, you can put this in your, in your carry-on.
Yeah.
Very, very easy. Stackable pots.
Oh, that's great.
They're amazing. Oh God. Hairbrush. These, these new, sorry,
La Brosse.
La Brosse.
Yes, they're great.
My friend had my, engraved for me and my star sign, which is obviously essential when you're brushing your hair.
Yeah.
My chip to do wire transfers, because I'm constantly being asked for work. We need to pay someone, so I'm constantly on the go doing that. I'm afraid I'm a germaphobe, so I always carry these Clinell wipes. Yeah. I'm totally against germs. Another thing, this is really essential. I love makeup. Sunshine Drops by Drunk Elephant.
Oh, nice.
These are great. You will thank me for that little tip. I've got, what else have I got? Oh, blotting papers. That's very important. Instead of yeah. It's mainly makeup.
Very well prepared.
Lots of makeup. These I call these my thinking sweets.
Interesting.
They're Jakeman's. You get them at they're like
medicinal.
Only.
Yeah. American stuff.
Yes, so Jakeman's, I have that to make sure that it helps me think.
Okay.
And I've got a very rude key ring that my brother gave me.
That's fabulous.
That's one of my most treasured possessions. My daughter borrowed that the other day, and she goes, "Oh my God, I've lost your keys." And I thought, "Don't worry about the keys. I'm worried about the key ring. How am I going to get one of those back again?" So I love that. Anyway,
Fabulous.
It's a very messy bag, and it's probably very similar to what's going on in my brain at all times.
But very practical.
Yes,
I love that with you. We're going to go to Quickfire.
Okay, right. I'll try and think on the spot.
What's your coffee order?
Oh God, it's my husband says it's really chavvy. It is, I'm afraid, a whole milk latte, a hazelnut latte. And I'm afraid to say when I make it myself, I might use hazelnut coffee mate in there.
It better taste delicious.
It's terrible, but it's an embarrassment, but I love it.
Does it wake you up in the morning? It's great.
Every morning.
What's your favourite cuisine?
Probably Asian fusion.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Your perfect date?
One that I'm back home really, really early for. No, actually.
The one that I'm on time for, yeah.
No, actually, a really special thing to do is I'm a member of a boat club here on the Thames. I think it's called the Chelsea Yacht Club or something. And you can take out these lovely old launches that were in the landings, the D-Day landings. Yeah. They're absolutely stunningly beautiful. I've done events on them, and that's a really nice thing to take out in the evening and go down the Thames and see the sights.
So beautiful.
Actually, it is amazing.
Oh, that sounds really magical,
special.
actually.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah.
Might steal that idea. Yeah. An extra 5 hours in the day. How would you spend it?
probably trying to catch up on all the work that I haven't got through. If I wasn't doing
not a cushion or a stitching or
so probably cross stitching, watching daytime TV, just catching up on Countdown. I think.
Love Countdown. If you're down, what cheers you up?
American comedy. Some people might say there's no such thing, but I think that...
The sitcom.
I'm afraid an old-fashioned American sitcom.
Which one? Like
Seinfeld.
A Seinfeld? There we go.
I'm rewatching Seinfeld right now. I'm on the sort of 9th, 10th round of the whole series, which is, by the way, a very long series.
Yes. I always joke that my mastermind specialist topic would be American sitcoms.
Or The Office, the American Office, which I'm obsessed with as well.
It's very good.
Yeah.
What is the best compliment you've ever received?
Probably people saying that they love what I do.
Nice.
Really. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Your go-to drink, alcoholic or non?
Okay, spicy margarita.
Oh, delicious.
For sure. But really strong one.
They'll do that really well in the Bahamas.
That's where I learned to love it.
There we go.
And they don't do a single pour.
They don't measure it. They don't measure that.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
You come back over here and you try and have a spicy margarita. It's like drinking some fruit juice.
It's just Tabasco.
What's the point of that?
What song are you listening to on repeat?
I always listen. Well, there's a highbrow and there's a lowbrow.
Okay, both.
So my highbrow is Into the Mystic by Van Morrison.
Nice.
He's my favourite artist of all time, and I always listen to that. My lowbrow is a bit of a sort of in-joke in my family. I'm afraid to say it's Low by Flo Rida.
Okay.
Do you know that
I
one?
think I do.
It's hilarious. And I always play it and then I dance to it just to really annoy my children.
Great. That's the mum I'm going to be. Do you have a favourite piece of clothing?
Well, I'm afraid to say I'm going to be boring. It's my own collection. So
a favourite piece from it?
Yeah, I will say it is my Mercer coat, which I just did this last season. It was an absolute sellout. It was printed cheetah velvet, double-breasted overcoat.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Bold.
It was very bold.
Is there a trend that you're totally over?
It's a trend that I never got into in the first place, but I see people who are really into it, and I cannot fathom, I'm just going to check your shoes, so that's fine.
Okay.
For the life of me, why people would want to wear these, but they are those weird, they're like a start right with a T-bar, like a child's toddler shoe, but adults wear them. Have you seen those
Like
things?
a Mary Jane?
Not even a Mary Jane. I like a Mary Jane.
Yeah.
We're talking about with the centre strap. It's like a toddler shoe. Like a start right.
Don't know.
Don't go there.
Won't go there.
You really don't want to go there. I see it. It's a real fashion thing right now, and I personally it's ugly shoes. I'm quite against ugly shoes.
I had that thing. You know, I think Balenciaga did that trainer, which was like a sock.
Hate.
Horrible.
I hate all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's no good sneakers around right now. Have you noticed?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm not a sneaker fan.
They are really, really dire. Someone needs to start designing one soon because I'm really stuck.
If you could be born in any day, well, you should add a sneaker line to your collection.
Well, I have actually thought about it.
Go.
You never know.
If you could be born in any decade, which one would it be?
Well, I wouldn't say born in this decade, but actually living this decade. I'm afraid to say I'd go back to the 80s. I was slightly on the young side for the 80s, but 80s America, when it was at its prime, think, Coke, drinking, the all-American sort of Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a Michael J. Fox sort of, I
prime of America, yeah.
Caught the tail end of it, but, I would have liked to have been a bit older and enjoyed that as a young woman.
Good times.
Good times.
A little early on in life, but if you were to write a book about your life and career so far, what would it be called?
That's a difficult one. I could think of so many, but I probably would say I'd call it The Expat, because I feel that my living in different places and having these not sort of feeling wedded to one country has completely been the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I would so say to my children, I really want you to go out, go live in another country for a bit, because it really changes your life. And I think it makes you such a different led person, and doing something slightly different than whatever all your friends are doing, I think is an amazing experience. And it really teaches you to get on with all sorts of people. So I think the expat is
very
where it's
apt
at
for you, and very, very valuable advice. Wiggy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So lovely to speak to you.
So lovely to be here. Thank you so much.